There's something about mountains that stirs the soul, doesn't it? Maybe it's their sheer magnificence, or the feeling of being on top of the world when you reach the summit. But for some, the allure of the mountain is tainted by a lurking fear. It was this way for the locals in a small town nestled at the foot of a mountain. For them, the mountain held a dark secret, an ominous presence that had been there since the beginning of time. They called it the Watcher on the Hill. It started with strange occurrences. Hikers would come across a dark figure, always seen perched atop the mountain. At first, they thought it was just a rock formation, but as more and more people reported seeing it, they realized it wasn't a figment of their imagination. It was something that was always there, watching them. The locals were terrified. Nobody wanted to go near the mountain, let alone climb it. But curiosity got the better of some, and they ventured into the hills, only to disappear. Some returned, shaken but unharmed, claiming that the mountain was haunted and that they had seen the dark figure up close. Others never came back at all. Rumors spread like wildfire through the town. Was the mountain a gateway to another world? Did the dark figure lure unsuspecting hikers to their doom? Some whispered that it was the spirit of a guardian, protecting the mountain from intruders. Years passed, and the mystery only deepened. One day, a young woman named Ilara decided she wouldn't let fear dictate her life anymore. She wanted to see the Watcher for herself. When her friends warned her about the danger, she just laughed it off. Surely there was a rational explanation for what people were seeing. Maybe it was a bear or a large cat, or perhaps there was a group of hunters who enjoyed playing tricks on unsuspecting hikers. As she neared the mountain, she felt a sense of unease. The trees seemed to be watching her. Their branches gnarled and twisted, like the arms of a giant. The air grew colder as she climbed higher, and the wind whispered through the trees, sounding like a mournful cry. Finally, she reached the summit, only to find nothing but rocks and a small cave. The Watcher wasn't there. Disappointed but not afraid, she decided to explore the cave. Maybe she would find something that could explain the strange occurrences. As she ventured deeper into the cave, the darkness seemed to press in on her, suffocating her with its cold embrace. Then she saw it, a faint glow emanating from a crevice in the wall. Hope surged through her. Could this be the answer she had been seeking? With renewed vigor, she pushed aside the rocks, blocking the entrance, and stepped inside. The air shimmered with an otherworldly light, and she could hear a low hum that seemed to vibrate in her bones. But then the ground beneath her feet began to shake, and the hum grew louder, turning into a deafening roar. The walls of the cave started to close in on her, and she could feel the darkness pressing against her, trying to pull her down into its suffocating depths. In a panic, she turned and ran, stumbling over rocks and fallen branches. She didn't dare look back, but she could hear the roar getting louder, closer. Suddenly, the entrance to the cave was filled with blinding light, and she could feel the warmth of the sun on her skin and the wind in her hair. When she finally dared to turn around, she saw that she was back on top of the mountain, the cave entrance gone. Below her, she could see the town, so small and insignificant from this height, and in the distance, she heard the sound of thunder. The storm was coming. She knew then that the mountain was no ordinary place. There was something powerful, maybe even dangerous, residing within its slopes. But she also knew that she had survived, and that was all that mattered. As she started her descent, she could feel the eyes of the mountain on her, watching her every move. But she didn't care. She had faced the Watcher and lived to tell the tale. Or maybe she hadn't. Maybe the Watcher had claimed her, and the story was just beginning.